Hello and welcome to a vlog. I don't have a theme for the reads that are going to be happening in this vlog. I just know that I'm going to be doing some reading and I have some ideas for what I'll be reading. I'm actually here at the library. Today is Saturday. I'm going to go pick up an exciting hold that I have and maybe read some of it and then maybe read some of my other book. I got a coffee that I'm going to go enjoy inside and just kind of chill and relax. I have some to drop off, some things that were overdue. Oops. I had some car trouble this week, so it was like a nightmare trying to get things back to the library, so they were a little late. But they'll be going back today, which is good. And I'm just going to bring you along with me this week as I read, film, go to work, do all the things, and just see what happens. Hopefully I'll enjoy some books. I'm currently reading Shift by Hugh Howey. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. I just got to the third and final section. They're kind of like little novellas. I just finished the second novella last night, and I started the third one this morning. I read a tiny bit of it. So I plan to read some of that and read some of my new hold. So I'll be bringing you along with me, and I hope you enjoy hanging out in my daily life.
You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good. I just can't hide. I wanna hold your hand, but I get too shy. Just me and you. What should I do? I used to be so quiet, like a flower on your wall, and everything around you made me feel like I was small. But then you said my name. Now it feels so strange. I've been waiting, oh so patient. Now the colors on my...
So I wanted to show you what I got from the library. You saw this, so this is very exciting. I didn't realize it was going to be on its way to me, but it popped up this morning that it was ready, so it was like perfect time. So I did start it because I haven't been doing a lot of physical reading, and this is something I can like put on the table, and meaning I don't have to hold it, because if you've seen any of my previous videos, I got carpal tunnel, we think, during Wonderthon, and I'm still waiting for it to heal. And I think I got it from like holding books up. I'm terrible, and I tend to hold them like this, which I think is really bad for my wrist. So I'm trying to like have them open on a table or a pillow on my lap and just like turn the pages that way. So this one works for that. So hardbacks are very common, or ebooks on my phone right now. So I started this. So this is going to help me catch back up on a series. I read the original 3 Hunger Games when they got really popular, like right before the movies came out. I read all 3 of them. And then I read A Ballad of Songbird and Snakes last year, I believe, and I thought it was okay. The ending did not make sense to me at all, and I did not jive with it, which was frustrating because like the whole thing kind of hinged on that, and it made no sense to me. Like the character opinions made no sense to me, and like what they were doing, it felt nonsensical. It didn't feel like it was earned. It didn't feel like it was set up. It felt like characters like switched on a dime and then suddenly we were doing something crazy. I didn't like it. So I kind of have low hopes for this going in, but I'm hoping that will help me enjoy it more. When I was reading this, I felt like I was shocked by first person. For some reason, when I opened this, I wanted third person, and I can't remember what any of the other Hunger Games are set as, but I'm not liking the first person narrative for some reason. I really want it to be third person, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I've been reading a lot of third person lately and I'm not liking first person. I tend to prefer third person. I know not everyone is like that, but I definitely prefer it. But I got about 20 pages in. I'm definitely like not hating it. And I was very pleasantly surprised that it's much shorter than A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It is 380 pages, very doable in a fairly quick amount of time. So I'm going to keep working on this. And then I got Martha Wells' The Witch King. I'm trying not to start too many series, so finishing off a series feels good. This is a standalone, which feels okay to me. And it might be when I DNF quickly. I'm not 100% sure. I don't always drive with Martha Wells. I really don't like Murderbot at all. I've read the first one and the second one, and I just don't care about them. Like, I don't understand what people see in them. And I'm hoping that I like her fantasy better. So I want to read this one, even though I haven't heard like the best things about it. I want to try it out. And same thing with The Lost Cause, only this I haven't heard anything about. This is by Cory Doctorow. And this is basically like a generational divide in politics, which is something that we're seeing today, except for this is like a made up version of it, and it just sounds really interesting. Cory Doctorow writes a lot of very like politically charged sci-fi dystopian kind of things, and I really want to give his work a try because I always think they sound interesting. It's a little intimidating because just like reading this sometimes feels kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of information and politics and things like that. But I want to give his writing a try and see if I could like him, because I think a lot of his work sound interesting, and this one in particular really sounds good to me because it's something that I feel very strongly that like a lot of my generation and younger generations do not agree on politics with our parents or grandparents or just the generation that's older than us. Like, we're seeing the world so much differently. And I think this could be really interesting, like, delving into that phenomenon. And then the final book I got is a start to a series, so I'm not sure if I'll actually read it because I'm trying to read down series, but it's one I've heard so many good things about, especially from Alan at the Library of Alexandria. He has been hyping up this book, and I do really like this author. That is The City of Lost Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is a chunky book, but I love Adrian Tchaikovsky's work for the most part. His books, I have read some that are a little disappointing, but I've just heard this one is interesting, and I don't really know what it's about. I've kind of skipped over every time someone has talked what it's actually about plot-wise, because I kind of want to just go in blind, but I absolutely love the covers. I think that this series just seems interesting. Some of the themes that I've heard people talk about are in this just sound really interesting, and how could you not want to pick up a cover that looks like this? So these are going onto my library stack, but I will say I am still very conscientious of my library goals to not hit under 75% books owned. I really want to be focusing on the books that I own and not going too crazy with the library books. But I have been feeling like I'm not wanting to pick up books since I can't just... It's such a struggle right now. I can't just pick up a book and read it. It's like it has to be the right book in the right situation or on an ebook. I'm listening to a lot of Critical Role right now. I'm in campaign 2 and I'm trying to catch up to the end of campaign 2 so I could potentially watch campaign 4 with my husband and maybe just skip over 3 because I heard people didn't like 3 as much. So I've been listening to a lot of that. I have like 50 episodes to go, so I'm listening to like an episode or episode and a half or 2 per day. So I've been doing that instead of listening to audiobooks, which feels good because I've been really powering through audiobooks a lot this year, and sometimes it's okay to just give myself a break and let myself listen to long-form D&D content. I've been very involved with D&D this year. I'm in 2 different campaigns. One is based on The Curse of Strahd, which is very exciting. And then another one is just one my husband made up, and it's very goofy and silly and fun. I love it. I have started game mastering for my sister and her fiance and soon to be 2 of her coworkers who really wanted to do it. So I've just been in the D&D world, and I kind of want to be like listening to D&D campaigns because I kind of might want to run one of my own one day. So I'm just trying to like really listen to it, and I love Critical Role, and I'm excited to try out some Dimension 20, and there's just like all this D&D content, but I have to get that time from somewhere, and that somewhere has been from audiobooks. So I'm reading a little bit slower, but it feels good. I just also have been needing some like exciting books to get to. So I think what I might try to do is try to like read a book I own and then read a book from the library and maybe bounce it around like that for a little bit just until I get that reading mojo back. Hopefully my wrists and stuff will heal. I have an appointment with a doctor to like get it checked out at the beginning of August. So we're just in that like waiting and healing period. And so I just, it's been a little odd, and I haven't known quite how to continue to make content when I'm not reading. And I don't just want to give you like boring videos that are just me like doing lists of like top 10 favorites or something. Not that those are boring, but you don't want 20 of them in a row if I'm not reading. So I'm trying to still have like active reading content, even though my reading is a little slower right now. It will pick up in the future. My reading always ebbs and flows. I usually have at least 1 or 2 months in a year where my reading kind of tanks. And so this is just that moment. That's just where we're at, and I'm really loving diving into other hobbies. I've been playing some video games, so I've been playing on the Switch. I got from the library because they just started having like Switch games you could borrow. I just got Life is Strange True Colors, which has been very fun. I've watched playthroughs of Life is Strange, the first 2 that came out. I don't actually know which one True Colors is. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know how many there are. I kind of lost track. But I have this like soft place in my heart for the like weird, edgy writing that Life is Strange is, and it's kind of silly and it's kind of over dramatic, but I also think that they have good messages and they're just interesting to watch and play, and I'm loving like the different choices feel like they have actual consequences. So it's all been very fun, and so I've been playing that on my Switch every once in a while. I try to get like half hour to an hour per day because it is a library copy, so it will need to go back at some point. And then I'm also really enjoying playing a game called Thunderfolk with friends and my husband and some of his coworkers. Started a campaign with my sister and her fiance, and we're adding a friend in tonight. And so it's been really fun. It's kind of like a D&D inspired video game. You buy it on Steam. Only one person needs to have a copy, and then everyone else like plays through their phone as a controller. So you can play it in person, like couch co-op, or you can play it virtually, which we're going to be doing tonight. So you pop it up on Discord and you stream it through there, and then everyone just views that screen, can use that to like control it, and it's very fun. It's lightly D&D inspired. It's kind of like a light version of Gloomhaven or Frosthaven, and it's just a lot of fun. It's like going on missions, and you're collecting treasure, and you're going through this story, and you're talking to townsfolk, you're upgrading the town, you're like getting allies and weapons and meals that give you different things. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's like this perfect mix between a board game and a video game, and it's just a lot of fun to play and just relax and hang out and play a game together is really nice. So I've been enjoying that. We're going to be doing that tonight for a couple hours, and then I'll probably read a little bit more, either physically or read some of Shift on my phone, and I'll just check back in with you when I have something to say. Maybe when I have more thoughts on this one or Shift, because that one is getting more intense as well. So I might have some more thoughts to say on it. Hello, I'm done playing Thunderfolk, and I forgot to film any of it, so sorry about that. I'm still getting the hang of like remembering to film when I'm doing something, But now I'm doing something less exciting, but still really important, and that is hemming some pants because I'm a shorty. I had did one leg earlier. I'm having to take it up like this much. It's probably like at least 1.5 inches or so. So I need to do that on this side, and then I can wear these in the summer because these are lovely like linen pants, and so they're really nice to wear in the summer. And we're like halfway through the summer and I haven't hemmed them. I have 2 pairs of these to hem, and then a pair of jeans that I need to hem as well. So I'm trying to get myself to like do a little bit of it here and there. Like it doesn't have to be sit down and sew for 3 hours. I can just do it. I'm just sewing by hand, like doing just a quick, like a very basic in and out stitch all around just to like make it serviceable, and that's basically it. So I'm going to be doing that and listening to some Critical Role, and then probably reading some Sunrise on the Reaping after that. Okay, I finished hemming them and my eyes are tired, so I think I'm maybe not going to read anything tonight. Maybe just continue listening to Critical Role, maybe read a teeny bit on my phone. But I thought I'd show you, like, this is what they look like now. They're a little wonky because I didn't iron before I hemmed them because I can't be bothered. I'm not the most perfectionist when it comes to this kind of stuff. So they're a tiny bit wonky, but like the way they hang, they will hit like the tops of my feet and my shoes. So I'm just hoping to get them to where they're not dragging on the ground, and like the bottom will be like loose and wonky and wrinkly, like linen is like that. So I'm happy with it. I'm gonna take care of my sewing supplies. Maybe I'll do the next pair tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on a roll. Maybe I won't do this again for like 9 months.
Oh God, this feels amazing. Starting now with you, and I don't mind. You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good. I just can't hide. I wanna hold your hand, but I get too shy. Just me and you. What should I do? You give me butterflies. Oh, what a surprise! The thought of your kiss as the people walk by. I'm just dying to ask, wouldn't hurt to try. Just me and you. What should I do? I hope you hit me back, 'cause I...
Hello, it's Wednesday, and I haven't been reading very much. I am going to try to remedy that tonight. I have been reading more of Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm 80 pages through, and I am enjoying this. I will say it's feeling a little bit like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's feeling a little bit too much like a prequel to me. Like, I can't help reading this knowing that The Hunger Games was written first, and that Suzanne Collins is going back and writing these characters to fit what they will be, rather than them being their own characters that we're exploring. We're exploring like characters aged back, which I really struggle with. It was the thing that I struggled most with A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, was the fact that it felt like all the characters were not real. They were just doing things that would lead them up to a certain point, and they didn't always, their actions, their feelings, their thoughts didn't always make sense, and the ending really didn't work for me with it because of that. Like, I didn't feel like where we got with Snow was properly earned, and where Snow is in the Hunger Games trilogy, it didn't make sense, the reasoning for it, for in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It was like, okay, but supervillain, like, you know, it just didn't quite do it for me. And I knew going into that book that there was, I don't think, anything that she could write that would, like, explain President Snow. Because he's a larger-than-life villain in the Hunger Games trilogy, and so trying to, like, go back and be like, well, this is why he is the way he is, but I don't know that she had that thought in her head when she was writing the trilogy. I think this is something that she's thought of much later. I don't know if that's true. That's just my assumption. And I feel like that doesn't work for me as well. Like, I much prefer to start the story here and, like, write it and not do, like, the whole prequel thing, because it just, I think I see the author too much, like, doing their thing too much in it. So I'm feeling that way a little bit with Haymitch. I feel like the story of his Hunger Games is trying to mirror Katniss's so much to explain why they connected, and we don't need that. We understand in the Hunger Games why Haymitch and Katniss connect, why they have an affinity for each other. They are sort of cut from the same cloth, so to speak. And they're also, like, survivors. They're people who are going to do whatever they need to do to survive. And I feel like Suzanne Collins is trying very hard to, like, make Katniss parallels in what's happening. I don't want to share spoilers, so I won't. But I just feel like there are scenes where I'm like, okay, this happened in the Hunger Games with Katniss. This happened in the Hunger Games with Katniss. Like, all of these things are reminding me too much of, like, a Hunger Games remake. Like, we're just remaking the first Hunger Games book from Haymitch's point of view as a kid in the Hunger Games. And so I'm not loving that, but the writing is engaging. The story of the Hunger Games is always going to be that sort of so horrifying you don't want to look away kind of thing. So it is very readable, but I just can't capture the magic of the Hunger Games in these prequels. They just feel too much like prequels. They don't feel like their own thing. They don't feel like they're exploring their own things. I also wonder, like, what Suzanne Collins is trying to say in this book, because I felt like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes didn't have anything really to say other than the things that have already been said about the Capitol and people within them and President Snow. But I didn't feel like it really added a whole lot. And so far, I don't know if I'm feeling any differently than I would reading, like, the Hunger Games. So, I don't know. These just, I will probably always read them because I'm curious about this world. I enjoy Suzanne Collins as a writer. I enjoy stories in this world. But I am frustrated because I feel like she doesn't have anything more to say, or she's just repeating herself over and over. And I wish that there was, like, more things being explored. I don't know, but I don't like prequels very much. So take that all with a grain of salt. If you don't mind prequels, you probably wouldn't mind this as much as I do. But I'm still going to read it. I'm still having a fine time. I also don't understand why Lenore Dove is so similar to the girl in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, other than they're both Covey. I don't know how you say the thing, but she's very similar. Like, she feels like a copy and paste of that character from a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know. Everything's just feeling kind of cut and paste to me right now, and it doesn't feel truly original. So, I don't know. But I'm going to read it. Have a good time. I'm still working on Shift. I've only read teeny bits here and there, but maybe I'll get some more reading done. Have been listening to a lot of Critical Role. Campaign 2 is going very well, and we're nearing the end. I think I have less than 50 episodes left now, so that's good. I'm on like 92 or 93, so that's good, exciting. I'm nervous for the ending and also excited to kind of be wrapping up this campaign because I've been listening to it for far too long. I finished campaign 1 a long time ago and I kept having these like big long breaks in the middle of campaign 2, so it's like I need to like wrap this story up. I'm gonna go shower, I'm gonna have some watermelon for dessert, and I'm gonna read for a little bit. I've been very tired, but I'm gonna try to stay up and read a little bit. Hello, it's been a couple days. I've been forgetting to actually like update this vlog a little bit. I also haven't been doing a lot of reading. Whoops. That's the theme of this vlog, is just teaching me to read again. I did read a little bit of this yesterday. The older boy, when the younger boy went down for his nap, the older boy was really tired and he also napped. So I got a little bit of reading done. I'm hoping I might get a little bit done today. I'm 138 pages in, so I'm like a third of the way in, maybe a little over that. And I'm enjoying this, definitely. I think we got some like interesting scenes. We're going through kind of your typical steps to getting into the Hunger Games after the Reaping, with like the training and the mentors and the fashion show and all of that stuff that's happening. We're getting kind of all of that, and there's also some interesting stuff being thrown in there. One thing I will say, one thing that was making me like question things, is they were talking in here about like past Hunger Games and how like the different arenas were like really interesting. And I think it's funny because the original Hunger Games arena is so bland. It's like, I don't know, just like a forest. And it's so funny because as she's like written more and written about the other Hunger Games, I think she's gotten like interesting ideas for like what different arenas could look like. Like Catching Fire is a very interesting arena and things like that. And it's just funny because the original one, which happens like after all of these, is so boring in comparison to the ones that she's talking have happened in the past. So I just think that's funny and something that like doesn't make sense to me as a reader, where it's like, okay, I can tell this is a prequel written after because you're having all these ideas that then don't live up or that supersede what happens in the Hunger Games, the original book. And that's because that was the first one and this is like much later. And it's just, it kind of puts things out of order because like the thing with the Hunger Games is that they're always having to make it interesting. They're always trying to do new things. It's a spectacle. The game makers are like always trying to like be the most creative and stuff. And I think as she's written more in this world, she has more ideas for like what would be a cool arena. But when she wrote the original Hunger Games, she didn't have all that. So she just wrote like the most basic version. And so it's kind of funny talking about these Hunger Games, past ones, and how different and more interesting the arenas were. And then going like, oh, the Hunger Games one is kind of bland in comparison. So that was kind of interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to try to read a little bit. Unfortunately, my ebook copy of Shift by Hugh Howey got sent back to the library and I had to get back in line for it. And so I'm waiting on that, but my ebook version of The Magus, which is another book I'm in the middle of, came in, so I'm using that for my ebook time, which I haven't been making time for. But that's what I'm reading. I think I read a couple chapters of it yesterday, so it wasn't like, it's not that I'm not reading, I'm just reading very slowly in these kind of large books. So, making my way through that one again while I wait for Shift to come back to the library. I listened to a really awesome episode of Critical Role. It's one that my husband told me about almost 5 years ago exactly when we were dating, because he was big into Critical Role and I didn't know anything about D&D when we started dating, and he's gotten me into it majorly. And so I finally got to listen to this episode that I remembered him talking about for 5 years and going like, I know what's going to happen in this campaign. I know what's going to happen. And it was so cool and he loved it. And so I finally got to like the point where I was like, I watched it. I know what you're talking about now. And I like held on to that info for 5 years so I could get to that and watch it. And so that was really fun. I've been listening to Campaign 2 for a long time. But I also did Campaign 1 after he had told me that story because I was like, that sounds really cool. And he was so into it. And it was really good. It lived up to all my expectations. It was a really cool, like, smart player moment. And just it shows the creativity and the fun that goes into D&D, and kind of like when someone can just have this wacky idea that just kind of works out in a really fun way. Hello, it's Friday night now. I am needing to wrap up this vlog soonish because I need to edit it so it can go out on Thursday. We have a little bit of time before that though, so I'm going to try to get in some solid reading. It's 9 p.m. I can stay up until 11 tonight. I'm still about a third of the way through Sunrise on the Reaping. I am hoping to get a couple hours of reading in this, or at least like an hour. Like, I'm going to set my timer for an hour and try to read and just practice reading. I've been so terrible about that. Unless I'm, like, at work and I have nothing else better to do, I'm, like, getting distracted by everything else. So, I'm going to just read in this one. I read a little bit of The Magus at work today on my phone while the boys were entertaining themselves. I would just read a couple pages here and there, and I'm not liking it. And I think part of it is just taking time to get back into it. And then part of it is like, this book is so much about sex in like a weird way, where it's just characters are always talking about sex all the time, and references to sex and fertility and stuff is just like constant, and I don't understand it, and it's kind of driving me nuts. Like, part of why the first part of the book felt so sexist is because the male character is just always thinking about having sex with women and viewing women as things he wants to have sex with, like not even people. And like, that's still continuing, and now we have this other character who's like talking about sex all the time, and it's just like, what are we doing here? I don't know why we're like talking about this all the time. It doesn't seem to fit in to anything. I think we met this guy who's supposed to be like our mysterious like guy who sets off this psychological game, and I'm like, I don't understand what he's doing. He's a little bit mustache twirly, like, don't ask me questions, I'm mysterious, like, but you're so compelled to be near me because I have a weird fertility statue in my garden. And I don't know, it's just weird, and I don't understand it, and I want to give it a little bit more time because I know I've taken such a long break from it. It's like, okay, let myself get back in like the swing of things, let myself sink back into this world, but I'm not loving it, and it may be a DNF. We'll see. I'm gonna try to push through it a little bit, but tonight, all about like Hunger Games. Like, I want some like popcorn read books. Like, I want this to be that for me. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go set a timer. I'm gonna read this book for at least an hour, and then I'll check back in with you. Okay, this is not very good lighting, but I'm here for just a quick update. Today, my husband and I went to a local ice cream festival in the like morning, afternoon time, and we got to try a bunch of flavors of ice cream. It was super fun. I didn't record anything because I wasn't thinking about it, but that's okay. Last night, I did get to the halfway point in Sunrise on the Reaping. Here we are, and I'm going to do the same thing tonight, try to read for like half hour, and try to make more progress. I just need to get in the rhythm of doing that a little more frequently. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm thinking probably after this weekend, so tomorrow, Sunday, I'll probably end this vlog, and then I can upload it on the weekend. So let's see how much of this I can get done. Hello. Sorry if the lighting is bad. I'm like parked in bright sunlight because it's garbage day, so a lot of the shady spots were taken. I'm going to be going into work soon, but I wanted to let you know that it's Wednesday and I finished Sunrise on the Reaping. This is the first book I finished in June, and we're almost at the end of it. So it's been a rough reading time, but I finished it this morning, and I really liked it. The last, 150 pages were really well done. I was worried because I didn't feel that attached to a lot of the kids in the Hunger Games. So I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Is it me? Is the book keeping me emotionally detached? But in the last sections, I was so upset at so many moments. It was so sad the way Haymitch's story kind of ends up. It ends up like it will, because we've read about him in the Hunger Games. He's not living a happy, hunky-dory life in the Hunger Games. And so it was just really well done how Suzanne Collins kind of ended his story. I thought the epilogue was a little unnecessary. I don't think it was needed. I thought everything up to the epilogue was all we really needed. We got everything. I don't want to give any true spoilers, but it was sad. I definitely cried a few times, and I just thought it was a really good representation of how complete the control of the Capitol is throughout this whole book. I think that was kind of the theme, is how hard it is to break out of a system that has so much control over people. It's terrifying to go up against, and it's hard, and when you fail, consequences are rough. And so most people don't even try, because why put yourself in that situation against something so big where it could go so wrong? And I really liked that. I thought it added a really strong sort of message and point in a way that I didn't feel Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes did. I thought this one was much better done. I still had a few problems with the writing, where it just explains too much, and I wish it would have gone one more round of fine editing just to perfect it. But I'm sure she's on a timeline with movies and all that to get books out. So, I wish things would slow down in publishing a little bit and let authors have the space and time and money to actually let their work be the best work it could be. Towards the end, someone calls Haymitch Hamwich, and then Haymitch goes, "That makes it sound like I'm a ham sandwich." And I'm like, yes, the author didn't need to repeat that. When you hear Hamwich, just things like that, where it's you're taking one step too many to explain something that to me feels very obvious. And so, yeah, I just think it a little too repetitive, a little bit of assuming your audience needs to be told every little thing. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And then I also started the Shelf This book club, which is called Savor It. And I can't remember the author's name, but I'll slide in the picture here. I've listened to about 40% of it or so yesterday, and I'm warming up to it. It's not an all-time favorite so far. I'm just kind of going along with things, but I am enjoying reading everyone's comments about the book. That's the best part about book clubs, is like talking with people about the book. Even if I don't enjoy it, I'm still talking with people and having a good time sharing thoughts. So I'm going to continue listening to that one and then continue reading stuff on my phone, probably for the most part. And that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this vlog that was kind of all over the place and random. A little bit of reading here and there, but also just talking about other things I enjoy while I'm in this sort of like reading slowdown. And I'm hoping we're out of it. Like, finishing a book felt really good, and it's made me want to continue reading and finishing other books. And, you know, even if it's slow going, still making progress. So thank you so much for hanging out. I would love to know if you've read anything amazing in July, or if you have any books that you're trying to squeeze in before the end of the month. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.